stones from afar. That just comes with the territory, and I'm sure you've had a few stones thrown your way by these very same people.
Right.
But, if you weren't there, you can't really make any kind of intelligent comment about it if it wasn't your experience and you weren't there.
Right. It just becomes another story, another tale.
Yeah.
That's the way some people look at it.
Now, one of the things that people, I'm getting just tons of email about it, and people are very afraid of one thing, and Carol Rosin talks a lot about that, and that creating more fear and aggression towards off-worlders and creating this as a threat and moving this in a very threatening manner. And she was talking about, Werner von Braun's statements about one of the last false flag programs they're going to run is a mock ET invasion or a fake invasion, and Project Bluebeam and all these other things. But, she talks a lot about that. Do you have any ideas on that? Or if you don't want to comment on it, that's fine as well.
I'll give you my position on what I think, and this is just speculation. I don't think, for the most part, that these alien visitors are trying to be aggressive or trying to dominate us or our world. I've got to believe, and I've gone through this with my wife. This is kind of my philosophy. I've got to believe that a very advanced civilization would have gone through what we're going through now, and that is fighting in wars amongst each other and developing nuclear weapons, and getting past that stage without annihilating themselves. Getting past the stage of this kind of technology where we're building more fearsome weapons that can completely annihilate us. If we can get past this, we will be on a good path towards a better state of consciousness worldwide, right? And I think that's what these extraterrestrials, if they are so far advanced from us, and I think they are, have probably gotten past this stage, and so they understand how to get along with each other. And that's where we have to go. We have to learn how to work together as a world community, and not as just a group of nations that's ready to blow each other to bits.
We've had some discussions about this because I know, we have back engineered these things due to Roswell and went to Bell Labs, and Corso blew a lot of this out of the water there, brought it all out. And, we have I've talked to some very, people with several PhDs under their belt that work for these black projects, and they've made it very clear we have anti-gravity, counter-gravity, fieldless energy technology, healing technologies beyond your wildest dreams. But these seem to be held back, from the populace. And you could imagine if we just got our act together and chose to live in harmony with each other and the planet, and then brought these technologies in, where we could advance to, what kind of a civilization we could create from that.
But why they're holding that technology is for military applications, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The military is at the core of holding the secrecy about this phenomenon, and the reason is because they don't want anyone else to know how important our technology is with regard to warfare. And that's wrong. That's just wrong. We've got too many black projects going. We're spending trillions on these black projects with no oversight. I've talked, believe me, I went to the Air Force Academy, and some of my classmates have been involved with these black projects. And more than once they've told me that it's very easy to get by congressional oversight. The managers of these black projects have to report to Congress every so often about where the money's going, but it's only to a few people in Congress, not not the entire Congress. It's just the people on these committees, these armed services committees, and it's so easy to pull the wool over their eyes. So basically, we've got no oversight over these black projects, trillions of dollars, and the military is all about fighting wars. That's all they're about. They're about building things to kill people, to fight wars, and somehow we've got to change that kind of concept so that we're more about finding ways to work together. And like you say, we need to know what they know about the extraterrestrial presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of sad because I see that if we treat this with the standard military mindset, everything's a threat that we can't dominate or control that's coming into our skies, and we're going to put our best technologies up there to greet them, with aggression, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's not a very advanced approach to this, and like you're saying, I think we need some kind of oversight. I was talking to, Richard Dolan about that, and I said, what we need? We need a truth and reconciliation panel or a truth and forgiveness panel where everybody is let off the hook saying, okay, from this point on, we're going to shift the energy. And then we need a panel that can implement this, that can get this out into the private sector, that, will oversee this whole thing and then make sure these people are of high integrity. And that's about the only way we're ever going to turn this planet around is to have some kind of a
right.
A truth and forgiveness panel, and then shift it after that into okay, how do we use this in the highest and best good of humanity and the earth, and still maintain security at the same time?
No, I agree, and that's a good objective. But first, the government has to admit that this is a real phenomenon, and that they have been tracking this phenomenon as long as they, it's been obvious to them, probably back to World War II or even before.
Oh, yeah. I have a German friend of mine that is a physicist, and he was talking about how that they were back engineering things way back, before the war, and they had their ships and their technologies, and he said, this is old news. I mean, this is really old news, and they're just
right.
completely surprised it hasn't come out into the private sector.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of this, but I've heard that I think in 1932 there was a crashed saucer in Italy, and Mussolini I think was in power at the time, and recovered this crashed saucer, and that's how the Nazis started getting the technology from this. Had you heard that?
I have, yeah. I've heard some other ones too, not just one, but they actually had occupants, and they weren't the Greys; they were humans. They were extremely advanced humans that had some kind of a problem with one of their ships. I don't know what happened, and they went down, and they actually gleaned the technology from it and had them on hand for quite a while.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting. But, unfortunately, we're running up to the end of the hour, but before we sign off, there's two things. I want to thank you so much for your, integrity and courage in bringing this information out, and also give your website. What's the best way that people can get a hold of your book?
Beta Giant, they can go to Amazon.com and order it through them.
Okay.
That's probably the best way.
And as far as reading up on your evidence, your best evidence, and which website should they go to for that?
Well, right now, the best place to read up on my evidence, and also we didn't get a chance to talk about the Air Force cover-up collusion with the Connon Committee, but I've written two papers, which I'm kind of proud of, I guess. One is that my evidence, which is on the UFOchronicles.com. These are both on there. And then the other one is called Back to Montana. I think I called it that, or Visiting Montana. And that talks about the Air Force cover-up of my case and the Echo case, and how they colluded with the Conant Committee to keep it secret. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it never got into the final report, the Conant Committee report.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so
pretty much the case.
Yeah. By the way, if I have a second or two, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed, donated. You know, we did this press conference on a shoestring, and it was a grassroots effort. We don't belong to any organization at all. It was just Hastings and I came up with this idea to get these people together, and so we got donations, and I'd like to thank all my Facebook friends especially, and people of Ojai, and Jose Escamilla, who donated the showing of his film a couple of times, and just so many people that really helped out. I'd like to thank them all.
Great. Well, we're out of time. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, and we'll probably have to do it again real soon.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a great evening.
Yeah, too. Good night.
All right. This is James Gillen with As You Wish Talk Radio, signing off. Have a great evening, and go out and watch the skies. That's where I'm going, and I'm sure I won't be disappointed. Anyway, have a great night.